Yes, I have brought an electric car to a gas station, but that's because I want a soda. Instead of having a handle to pull to get out of the car, there is a button that pops the door. The handle to open the door is inset, so the handle comes out when you open the door, and there is a button to push to open the door from the inside. One thing I will say for this is it is great to have so many backup cameras. You have right behind you as well as to the left and right sides. Makes it easy to get in and out of a parking space. One of the best features of the Tesla is the backup cameras. When you put the car in reverse, you have a backup camera that most cars have now, but you also have side view cameras that show you a full around view of where you're backing up. In addition to the backup camera that most cars have, the Tesla Model 3 also gives you side views. These come on when you are in drive and put your turn signal on. You get to see the left and right sides of the car, making it easier to change lanes. Rather than having a handle to pull to open the door, there is a button that you push to open the door. Since there is obviously no engine in an electric car, in the front there is a frunk instead of a trunk. There's a lot of room in the front seat. It is very comfortable. The back seat is much less so, but is still very much acceptable. This is standard for a car this size. The back seat is more than roomy enough. I'm 5'11" and I fit in here just fine. If the Tesla superchargers sold drinks, I wouldn't have to stop at the gas station to get one. For some reason, every time I get in and out of the Tesla, I screw up the floor mat and don't seem to be able to get it back. If I owned one of these, I'd probably have to get different floor mats. The other thing is, there are no handles to grab onto above the door. This hadn't occurred to me until my elderly father was trying to get in and out of here earlier. But on the plus side, one thing Tesla does absolutely right is that there is an enormous amount of storage space in the console. The amount of storage space available in a Tesla Model 3's trunk is very good. It's more than sufficient. And in addition, there is a small amount of space available in the front trunk, or frunk. But it is not nearly as substantial as this. This is very big for its size. There is even more room than you see at first glance in the Tesla's trunk, because there is a very large storage compartment underneath the trunk.
Now let's see if I can get out of the thing.
Okay.
Cars today are not designed, they're not designed for humans. They're designed by engineers and concept people and design people, and maybe the government meddles in it, probably does, but you know, and that's one reason that people today, a lot of people today, young families in particular, and I'm in agreement, they buy giant SUVs or big vans, or, well, why? Because they've got a lot of room, and secondly, you got plenty of headroom, and they're easy to get in and out of, and you can carry a lot of people in them, and you know, you get more bang for your buck. And besides, it's designed for human beings. And these little bitty cars like this Tesla and all these other little old fast, sexy cars you see zooming out, they're not designed for people, you know.
Even the control to lock the doors is on the touch screen. That locks the doors, that unlocks them. I suppose the biggest downside to this car ultimately is ergonomics. You can get used to not having any gauges and reading everything off of the touchscreen, but having to use the touchscreen for everything, and I mean everything, locking and unlocking the doors, changing the audio or climate, and then not having door handles up here to grab to get in and out of the car, and not even having a handle to open the door. I mean, yes, it gives a futuristic look, and some of it really is with all the cameras, very futuristic, and there is a lot of storage space because of what's not there. But ultimately, it does not make it an easy car to operate. Ultimately, this is a really nice car, and I'm very impressed with it. And if I had one, I would enjoy it very much. But is it a game changer, fundamentally so much better than all of the other electric cars on the market? No. And in their desire to be different, some of what they've done is not an improvement, and quite honestly, is not as good. I mean, even if their Charger, if they think it is superior, there is a reality that the other Chargers are standard, and not putting physical controls and having everything through the touchscreen is a nuisance and is of questionable safety. Honestly, it's a really nice car, but not one that I'm going to recommend.
The bottom line is I'm elderly, although I'm in pretty good shape. But the bottom line for me is I would never buy a Tesla, simply for the very reason that this car, along with a lot of modern cars, but this car in particular, is not designed for somebody like me. It's very low to the ground. It's very difficult to get in and out of. You almost have to shoehorn yourself into the thing. And the only way to get into it almost without knocking your head off is to sit down with your feet outside, finally get your head under the frame of the window frame without knocking it off, and then pull your feet into the interior of the car. There are, as the Germans would say, and did say with Volkswagen, the Volkswagen had handles. They called them oh shit handles. I wouldn't call them that, but okay, I understand the concept. And this car has no handles, interior handles to grab hold. There's no handle up here. There's no handle on the center console. There's nothing to grab hold of to pull yourself in or out of the vehicle. That's one thing. The second thing is this car is all digital and little or nothing as far as controls are concerned. Little or nothing manual. If you're driving along and you need to change something like the temperature or the radio or whatever it is, there's no buttons, there's no knobs. I'm totally distracted from driving or concentrating on your drive, so you can look at this digital screen and touch it with your fingers and manipulate whatever it is you were trying to do. Well, that's nuts. That's fundamentally unsafe. It's an unsound design. I don't like it one bit. I don't know who designed this car that way, but they weren't thinking about safety when they did it. Anyway, those are my chief complaints. It's not designed for an old person. cars. This car is designed for somebody who's young or middle-aged or whatever. And I don't care if it'll accelerate to 100 miles an hour. So what? Big deal. You don't need to be accelerating at 100 miles an hour anyway. Does it look okay? Well, exterior-wise, it's okay, but it's like hundreds of other cars on the market. They're all more concerned about the aerodynamic look and the just kind of this snazzy overall look of the thing. Cars aren't designed. This car is not designed for people. It's designed by engineers. It's designed by designers. It's designed by designers for designers. The thing is, as I said, it's uncomfortable and inconvenient getting in and out of. The headroom is pretty bad. Cars when I was younger, they were designed for people. They were large. They were comfortable. You had lots of headroom. You didn't have any trouble getting in and out of the things. You didn't have to step down into it like you're stepping down into the cockpit of the fighter plane or something. You just opened the door, you got in, and you got out. Not today. This car is symptomatic of it, but it's not the only one. Most cars today are not designed. They're not designed for humans. They're designed by engineers and concept people and design people.
I have already criticized Tesla's decision to put virtually everything on the touchscreen, but one that you might not guess relates to the glove box. The glove box is opened through the touchscreen, and instead of putting a lock on it like older cars used to have where you put the key in and turn to open the glove box, they put a PIN number. It seems modern and futuristic, I'm sure, but it is also not necessarily the most practical way to do this. A simple handle to open the glove box is easy, and this is not easy. So because Tesla wants you to do everything through the touchscreen, you have controls here for your lights, your mirrors, your window lock. You have the steering controls here. If you want to move your steering wheel, you can adjust your mirrors in the app. Here you can adjust your acceleration, standard, and chill, your steering mode, and your stopping mode. Now they use terminology like chill, creep, roll. This is where you disconnect your charging cord if you are finished charging, which I am not. The autopilot controls for your locks. If you want to put child locks on the back doors, or you want to lock your windows so people can't roll them down. There are controls for your lights, the lights inside the car, the headlights. The controls for this display, recording things from your trips. This is basically trip odometer and such. Navigation controls, safety, and interestingly, in the safety, you have the ability to turn the screen off. Your service, your owner's manual, you can see what your tire pressure is. And down here, we have the ability to update the software, which is not available right now, but that's fine. In addition to the backup cameras, you also have a forward camera, which you can use to see what you would see looking out the window, but it does have the ability to record. One useful thing is you do have the ability to go back and look at historical video footage that your car has recorded when you have been driving in the past. If you need to go look at something and recapture video of something that you observed that happened that you want to use. Now you can put a dash cam in a car easily, and I have one and I have used it to record some of this video, but having it built into the car is a nice feature. So when I was driving the car and I could not adjust the braking, it is now that I'm parked letting me do that. I can put it on creep, which is what it was on all along, roll, and hold. It allows me to do that. It lets me adjust the acceleration and steering mode when I'm driving, but I was not able to adjust the stopping mode when I was driving, and it would be very helpful if it would allow me to do that. I have been critical of the ergonomics, but putting built-in wireless chargers for your phones was a move of genius. It's just brilliant. You just set your phone down and charge it. I know Tesla is not the only one that does that, but that is a very nice feature to have. I know Tesla is not the only car company that puts wireless chargers in the cars. That's going to become more and more common, but it works great. And it is very useful and helpful to have that right here where you can get at it easily on the console.